Good morning, this is Shelby Law with the Great Basin Prescribed Fire Briefing for Wednesday, October 25th, 2023. Precipitation for the past 1 week and 2 weeks is shown here. The last week has been on the dry side across most of the Great Basin, with a few pockets here and there of some precip. Before that, over 2 weeks, just over a week ago and 2 weeks ago, we did see some precip across the northern two-thirds of the area, and we are setting up for another precip event today into tomorrow. Taking a look at that satellite imagery this morning, we can see a low pressure system moving into the Pacific Northwest. This is already bringing some cloud cover and some moisture into the northern and northwestern portions of the Great Basin. We also are experiencing some wind out ahead of this low and a major change in our weather today, tonight, into tomorrow, with showers and much cooler temperatures moving into the area. So a pretty good fall storm right on our doorstep. So again, by this afternoon, that cold front will begin to continue to move through the northern third to half of the area with cloud cover, cooler temperatures, and winds. Ventilation rates are pretty high today with those winds. Closer look at the transport winds here on the left. Very breezy to windy over Nevada, across much of Utah into southeast Idaho and western Wyoming, and mixing heights are pretty high across those areas, especially along that front in the central Great Basin. The main precip event is happening later this afternoon into tomorrow, so by Thursday afternoon that front has moved off to the east and precip is diminishing, but cooler air will remain in place across the Great Basin behind that low, and ventilation rates are still pretty good on Thursday. Wind speeds decrease across much of the area by Thursday, late in the day Thursday, with some winds just continuing mainly in eastern Utah. And mixing heights are still decent on Thursday. The maximum temperatures on Thursday are going to drop quite a bit from today's highs, especially across the south, with highs only in the 40s to low 50s for most of the areas, and pretty good precip event starting again this afternoon through the evening hours, overnight hours, and into most of the day tomorrow. High elevation snow is expected with this storm as well. Generally, cool and dry conditions are expected across the Great Basin on Friday, with the trough still in place across the region there. Ventilation rates are still pretty good on Friday. Transport winds shown here on the left show some increased wind speeds across southwest Utah and portions of eastern Utah and up into western Wyoming, with pretty high mixing heights in those areas as well, really kind of out ahead of that trough. The forecasted clearing index for Utah for the next 3 days is shown here. Very high values today and tomorrow with the winds and high mixing heights. On Friday, the values come down just a bit across the north but remain elevated across the south. One of the big changes in the coming days and into the week is a drop in minimum temperatures. Of course, dropping our maximum temperatures as well, but we will see for the first time, many areas will see their overnight freezing temperatures for the first time this fall, especially across the south. So today, our overnight temperatures are shown here for tonight, still above freezing across much of the southern half to a third of the Great Basin. But by Friday, those temperatures really decreasing overnight to most overnight minimums in the 20s, and then further decreasing or continuing to remain low into Sunday, into the first part of next week. So we are definitely in for some very cool, cold nights with some hard freezes out there. The 3-day precip total is shown here. This is mainly, again, just today into tomorrow afternoon as that main low moves through, bringing a pretty good chance of precip to the northern half of the area and mountain snow. Saturday should be another dry, cool day again with that northerly flow across the area, but generally dry conditions. Ventilation rates are high across the area on Saturday. Generally same story on Sunday, still cool northerly flow across the Great Basin. Ventilation rates remaining elevated across Utah and most of Nevada, decreasing a bit on across Idaho. We will start to see a ridge building in as we head into Monday. Slight warming, still remaining dry across the area. Ventilation rates decrease a bit as that ridge builds in early next week. And then on Tuesday, we start to see the ridge flatten a bit, but still generally dry, with mild temperatures area-wide, ventilation rates decreasing across the area. Precipitation totals for days 4 and 5 are shown here. This is Saturday through Monday. Again, pretty dry across most of the area. We might see some precip here in eastern Utah as we head into the first part of next week. The extended forecast for November 1st through the 7th is calling for above normal temperatures across the western U.S. with above normal chances for precip over the Pacific Northwest, including Idaho and northwest Nevada, with a drier signal over the southern Great Basin. This concludes today's Prescribed Fire briefing. Please check back on Friday for the latest updates.